right, welcome to World Cup, your daily fix. And on a day of controversy, we are going to have Raheja, the Vice President of the KSCA, who will be joining us from Bangalore. In addition, Ayaz Memon joins us from Mumbai, Akash Chopra here in the studio, and also a special guest, Mr. Raheja, from the CEO of Raheja Developers, joining us in the studio. But first, a World Cup ticketing scam seems to be in the making. 3 KSCA officials have been held in Bangalore for hoarding tickets after police lathi-charged angry fans at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium. Now, the incident happened, or rather, so far unnamed KSCA officials were nabbed with 100 tickets in their possession. They are being quizzed as to how they procured so many tickets. Earlier in the morning, the scene outside the Bangalore Stadium, as you can see on the screen, was of total chaos. The mess occurred at the ticket booths as fans came in large numbers to buy tickets, but too few were available. Around 7,500 tickets were to be on sale from 8 a.m. and allegations are that only a fraction of that actually made it to the counters. Soon the crowd became angry and out of hand, and the police lathi charged to restore order. Our correspondent Vijay Grover gives us a first-hand report.
The excitement over the India-England game was visible even when the ticket sales started. But the crowd over here was something that became a huge challenge. With just limited seats available, the biggest challenge for the police was to control the aspirants, something that resorted to lathi charge and also caning of all these people. The strewn chapels, something that very clearly showed the testimony of the craze. Most of the people who stood in the queue stood through the night, hoping that they would be lucky enough to get a ticket. While many of them were genuine fans, many of them were also black marketers who were making a quick buck in this particular game. With the ticket prices already on the black market selling from 1,250 tickets, selling for over 5,000 rupees, a clear indicator that this fans, or many of them, actually want to be a part of the excitement this Sunday. But how many would be lucky is something which is a big challenge. But clearly, the excitement of the World Cup is visible in Bangalore finally. With British journalist Vijay Grover, NEWSX, Bangalore.
Look, I think the biggest challenge what we face today is trying to meet the expectations of the people. That is not possible. That's never possible. And I think there's a limit where we can keep people happy. Beyond that, unhappy people will say all kinds of things. We can't, keep answering all those things. So there is nothing much that we can do. Lots and lots and lots. I don't know whether I can keep account, but while I was coming to the association this morning, I mean, there was a huge circle. Even last night around 10:30, I could see a few people standing in the queue. So this has been the tradition of Indian cricket. Now, this is not the first time. This has been repeating for ages. 38,000 capacity, members are close to around 4,500, and then they get to get one ticket extra. So that's around 3,000 tickets, close to 3,000. So that's 7,000 tickets on the whole, which is, look, even everybody has compromised to a large extent. And then we have some kind of corporate commitments that has to be done. It doesn't work that way. And if you really ask, even the quota that has been allocated for all the association, I mean, people from Bangalore would be watching that match for sure. That's what I have seen. A lot of people from Bangalore who had contacts have taken that ticket. So that's a quota. Tomorrow, if I have people in Bombay and if that is KSCA is eligible, and we'll definitely ask for those quota. We'll definitely look for some for the World Cup finals.
Well, that shows the, demand for the ticket. That's true. We are also concerned because not many people, they want to watch the match and there are limited number of tickets. So state association, they are trying their level best to resolve this problem. And the demand is so high that it's becoming very difficult for the state associations to manage it. Because ICC also wants certain number of tickets, which is obviously is their tournament, so have to be given. And then, the capacity of the keeping in mind the capacity of the grounds, the stadiums, and the demand. I think there's a vast difference.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that only brings us to the big questions or the talking points of the day. Where have the tickets gone for the general public? And is the World Cup or for the officials or for the fans? And who is ultimately responsible for the chaos that we've seen today earlier in the morning? Let's put this question straight away to Raheja, joining us from Bangalore. Raheja, who's to blame for this particular mess, and what's really the defense of the KSCA?
Well, to tell you, I decided to come to the KSA a little early this morning, and I was shocked to see there were so many people around the place, standing around in queues, and it was not that they didn't know about it, because there was a press release this morning saying that there were only 7,000 odd tickets up for sale, and yet there must have been at least about that point of time at about 9 o'clock in the morning there would have been about 15-20,000 people standing outside the gates. So I think it's very difficult from the KSA angle for us to cater to all the needs of all the cricket fans who had come this morning, because we have our commitments to be made. We have the ICC, a commitment to the ICC. We have a commitment to the BCCI. We have a commitment to the members of the association, to all the cricket associations around India. So our commitment is great. I mean, this has been happening for the last, from the time I remember, from 1974, that we should have the same system where tickets were sold, percentage of the tickets were sold at the gates just prior to the match, 3 or 4 days before the match, and everything was okay. But this World Cup, I think things have really been changed. I mean, you had to believe it to see the amount of people that were standing outside the stadium.
But really, to go back a couple of months when the Anil Kumble-led administration, of which you are a part, came into power, a lot of changes were promised in cricket administration in the country. Right now, you're going ahead and saying that this is part of Indian cricket. So what really has changed? How do you plan to change all of this? What about the promises?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be change. It's too soon. I mean, in 2 months' time, we couldn't demolish any part of the stadium and rebuild it again. I mean, we would have gotten the same mess as what Calcutta got into. So I think that's going to take time. We're definitely going to increase the capacity of this stadium, at least another 15,000 more. Because if you see the other games that are played over here, the test matches and the one days, I mean, the stadium is not full. For a test match nowadays, you hardly get 50% of the stands full. So it's only one game in 10 years or 15 years that we have this chaos. So I mean, we are trying to address it by putting in another 15,000 built up into the stadium. But then again, we are definitely going to see that the facilities for the spectators, for the members, and for everybody who watches cricket will improve definitely.
Definitely, the improvement is a very, very important part as far as Indian cricket is concerned, and change has been spoken about. Let's go. Let me put this question across to Ayaz Memon. Ayaz, in Mumbai, everyone has been speaking about the number of tickets that have been reserved for different quotas for the World Cup final, and only about a few thousands will be available to the paying public for that particular final. It's really a pan-India problem, isn't it? And how does Indian cricket really go ahead and change this?
Look, the way it works in India, and I share Roger's views over here. For instance, in Mumbai, about 4,000 or 4,500 tickets will be on sale for the Aam Janta, for the Aam public. Now, having said that, a lot of the tickets are allotted to the gymkhanas and the clubs which make up the Mumbai Cricket Association. So it goes on a quota basis to them, and then they give it out to their members for a cost, obviously, or members' guests and whatever else. So if I want to buy a ticket in Mumbai, I have two choices. One is to find a member of, say, a Islam Gymkhana or a Hindu Gymkhana or a Bombay Gymkhana and get a ticket from them, or I go and stand in the queue to try my luck with 1 out of 4,000 tickets, which is going to be a heck of a task. Now, you can say that increase the capacity to 100,000, but what do you do with that capacity when you have the World Cup once in 15-20 years, and then they'll say that why has there been so much infrastructure which has gone to waste? So I think we need to strike a balance. This is a marquee game which has fallen in Bangalore's lap. Kolkata, which should have hosted this game, had a capacity of 75,000. Bangalore has half of that, and now they're saddled with this tremendous rush. I don't know how they're going to cope with it, but it's a real burden. It's a problem for them.
Well, why don't I get a corporate perspective over here? Now, you have been associated in many ways with cricket in the past. What really are the corporate expectations as when they're sponsoring tournaments, when they're sponsoring such matches?
It's very simple. As we sponsor and as people come to know about it, and they come to know through media, through publicity, through the overall presentation of the ground and premises also. So everyone who is close to you, who's your friend, he will be looking at one ticket, some preference ticket or free entry, or so. When naturally we spend money, we do expect a certain privilege for ourselves, and that privilege naturally has to be delivered. Otherwise, why should I put in the money?
Well, if you were to talk as a fan, do you feel cheated? When
Not
tickets don't
really,
get to the
but
fans?
because you have to make the things work also. And if you have to make the things work, you need to get sponsors as well. And of course, if I spend money, I would look at some tickets for my own people.
Well,
Abhinav, you know what I really think is the problem is not with the international matches happening everywhere or even the IPL, because their guidelines are very strict. They're only, the association gets only 20% of the tickets and the rest actually goes to the real fans. With the ICC World Cup happening after say 15-20 years, you have the ICC quota, you have the BCCI quota, then there is a list of corporates, sponsors who have already put in the money, like the gentleman on my right. So these guys obviously need a share of the pies, and that's where the real problem starts. But still, at one level, I can understand. There is an obvious scarcity of tickets because of the lack of capacity in the stadiums. But the way that fans were treated outside the stadium really disturbs me, because you can't be lathi charging people for just wanting a ticket.
That's exactly the focus of this next story that's really come out, where the ICC had indeed gone ahead and warned the organizing committee of such a mess happening. Now, that happened just yesterday in a letter to its president and 2011 World Cup organizing committee chief Sharad Pawar. The body had said, and I quote here, "With the significant demand and little availability, there is potential for chaos and physical injury when the box office sales open." And Pawar and the BCCI paid no heed to the ICC's advice, as can be seen from the scenes outside Bangalore today. And these brutal scenes really not doing good for India's image. Worldwide, the ICC had also warned the organizers on a number of issues and chaos that is bound to happen again and again unless the organizers take things seriously. Now, specifically talking about the final, the ICC has even suggested that over-the-counter sale of tickets for the final in Mumbai be cancelled. And again, I quote from that letter, "We are very concerned that the process to sell the remaining tickets, that is around 4,000 to the public, is not really up to scratch." Now, after 20,000 were reserved for the MCA and 7,900 for ICC commercial partners, we strongly recommend that this sale of tickets be cancelled. It doesn't end there. The ICC has also come down heavily on the local federations, which it feels are not functioning properly. Now, here are some more excerpts from that letter. And I quote, "The online distributor has not yet received all the physical tickets from the respective cricket venues and associations. Fans paid more than 6 months back but are yet to receive the tickets. Apart from the threat of claims for compensation from these customers, this is causing a significant public relations issue for the ICC." Roger, coming straight to you on this, the ICC blaming the local federations. What really is your defense in this particular matter in terms of the letter that has been sent by the ICC legal head to Sharad Pawar?
I really don't know what the what tickets have been given to the ICC and the sponsors. I'm not really sure the numbers. Because that I think Srinath would be in a position to answer you that. But coming back to this, I think ICC we have to formulate a system how the tickets are going to be sold. I mean, it shouldn't get into the wrong hands of people. That's important. So we select online, probably something's going to happen over there.
Oh, at
so
this point, why don't you really? I'm sorry to interrupt. Why don't you
system.
really? At this point, why don't you really tell us how this whole process works, where the ICC gives the responsibility to the organizing committee, and the organizing committee sublets that responsibility to the state associations, which in your case happens to be the Karnataka State Association, of which you are an integral part.
Yeah.
Well, how does the whole process work? Yeah.
Well, the tickets. Yeah, the tickets which are given to us. Okay, we have to honor the commitment of the members. So each member is allowed to buy a ticket. He gets his pass, his complimentary pass, and he's allowed to buy one ticket. And then we have to honor the associations. Every association gets a certain number of tickets which for each match that's played in India. That's one again. The other one is for the committee members are allowed to buy a certain number of tickets for themselves. Again, a lot of tickets have been given to the sponsors, to the bureaucrats, to the people who assist or help KSA on its basis. So tickets have to be given out to, and these are all streamlined and been done over the years.
Fair enough. We've got a pretty good idea of how really the tickets work. But Naveen, Raheja, coming to you on this particularly, if you were to put yourself in one of the two seats right now, a fan or a corporate, which one would you put yourself in? Do you feel cheated for the fans that are not able to get the tickets? They, after all, drive the sport.
That is unfortunate. The way the things have been handled is actually unfortunate. And it is up to the organizing people that how they should sit down, put their heads together and try to understand that this kind of thing should not repeat. Now, how they make it, whether they make tickets sales online or whether it is on first come first serve basis, whatever is the method, but they should not let the crowds gather and collect in front of the windows, and then after that, you know, police lathi charging and treating those people like that. They have no, you know, they are not to be blamed.
I think he's got a valid point.
Right.
The dynamics of this country is such that everyone doesn't have a credit card. If you want to buy tickets online, you need that credit card to actually purchase those tickets. So again, you're not reaching out to the real fans who want to pay. They want to pay and watch the game, but can't.
Well, that is really a big matter when it comes to cricket in India. And as you can see, there are no real easy answers. But what really has an easy answer is our daily World Cup contest. Now, here's how you can win a lot of prizes here on World Cup. Your daily fix. We present the NEWSX 50 Lakh World Cup Bonanza, the World Cup's biggest contest and giveaway. Stay tuned to NEWSX and you could win 50 lakh worth of prizes. All you have to do is answer the NEWSX Daily World Cup question. Now, today's question is, which team reached the finals of the World Cup thrice but never won it? Your options are on that screen. If you know the answer, call 125526 or 505-101-526. You can also SMS NEWSX space A, B, C or D and send it to 53434. You could take home a Fossil watch, a Samsung DVD player, a Pearl set from Gitanjali and lots more. And if you can answer the question correctly for all 7 days, you could win 925 purity silver worth 1 lakh rupees. So what are you waiting for? Get started. We'll return after a very short break. Welcome back to World Cup, your daily fix. And finally, there's a match that we should really have to watch out for on the World Cup. Now, South Africa take on the West Indies in just a short while from now, and this is how the two teams look against each other. They played 50 matches in which South Africa clearly enjoy a good head-to-head record. The West Indies have got a lot of catching up to do, and the South Africans have gone ahead, won the toss and elected to bowl on a slowish pitch at the Firoz Shah Kotla, which is expected to be slowish. And more than anything else, they want to shake off the chokers tag.
A lot gets made about the chokers tag, and it's probably more gets made about the media. We certainly, don't talk about it. We don't, even think about it. I think the word choker gets used far too often. Every time a team loses a game these days, it seems to choke. I think people need to really go and look up the word choker in the dictionary and get that definition correct. But certainly something that doesn't haunt us.
You can say about past South African teams that they've choked, and they probably have. But the freshness that we've got in the squad now, the guys are free to play. If that doesn't work, then unfortunately we have to go back. But it's quite interesting to say that just South Africans are the chokers, but Australia have won the last three, so the other teams have also not won it. So it's quite interesting.
All right, news just coming in is that the South Africans have gone into this match with 3 spinners. I asked Meman, is that the first time you've seen the South African side that way? 3 spinners in the South African side, and what really do you expect?
Well, come to think of it, you would wonder if there are 3 spinners available in South Africa and they're playing 3 in a World Cup match. But jokes aside, I think it's a clear indication that they've been monitoring the warm-up matches. They played a couple over here and seen the trend, and they are hoping to fox or at least keep the West Indies at bay through spin bowling rather than through the fast bowling arsenal that they've got, and they've got a mighty arsenal of fast bowlers. So this perhaps could be a trendsetter for the rest of the tournament.
Akash, horses for courses, that seems to be the mantra of this.
Well, yes, I think that's why 3 spinners, because yes, they are obviously carrying 3 spinners in the side. They think that West Indies are more capable batsmen against the moving ball or the seamers. But I think they are now playing 3 spinners, but they are bowling first. Ideally, you would want to bowl second when you've got 3 spinners in your side. You want the wear and tear to happen on the track for 50 overs and then go in. And one more thing about the Kotla track, I think with a shoddy pass, I would have batted first, honestly, because you really want to have the first use of that track, get runs on the board, because as the match is going to progress, it's going to get lower and slower.
You played a lot of cricket over here, a lot of day-night cricket as well. Is the dew going to come into effect at this time of the year?
I think that's the only concern. I think that's what has prompted, but that's a huge decision. If you're banking on dew to fall and make things worse for bowling second, then that's the call they had to take. Perhaps that's the reason. Otherwise, I think batting first on a Kotla track is definitely a wise thing to do.
Well, Roger, looking at the South African decision, do you think it's going to be wise by the end of the day? And okay, we seem to have lost that link with Roger Binney. Let me put that question to Ayaz Memon. Ayaz, looking at the South African decision, does that reflect any kind of doubts in their mind, or is it a statement of intent coming from Graeme Smith that we are not really known for this particular aspect of our game? We're going to win this World Cup and change everything around.
Look, I think a few things may have compelled this decision. They remember not too long back they toured India a little over a year ago, so they are they're familiar with the conditions, and perhaps a lot of them play in the IPL. But I go by what Akash says. I mean, you know, it's a pretty strong decision to go in with 3 spinners, and then you go and kind of field first. So it seems to be, the thinking seems to be at odds with itself. Now, unless there's some mighty game plan that Graeme Smith has, which we don't know about, it does seem a little odd.
What really would be going on in Graeme Smith's mind?
Well, I think they would like to dominate, because that's the way they want to stamp their authority in the World Cup. They've been there, done that, haven't won the World Cup though, but they have been the most consistent side apart from Australia in the last 2-3 World Cups. And still they haven't really managed to cross the line. So one, they would like to shrug off that chokers tag, which has been haunting them forever. And a statement of intent that this is the time we are capable enough to actually play in the subcontinental conditions and win the cup. So I think this game is huge for South Africa as far as I'm concerned.
Well, huge game for South Africa, but speaking from a fan's perspective, we've all seen them choking. Do you expect them to choke again in this World Cup?
Mainly I look at it why they are doing it is because the pitch has been remade also, and they might have inspected the pitch as well.
Well, what about the chokers tag? South Africa chokers, they've always gone together in a sentence for many, many years. Do you expect them to again go ahead, self-destruct and be the South Africa we've always known?
They are always the champions, but they are unlucky as well. So
a lot of things have to go South Africa's way, honestly, because choking is something when you cease to make decisions, you actually are so scared to take any chance, and that's what has happened with South Africa. They haven't really crumbled under pressure, Abhinav. They have choked, and choking is a lot different than succumbing to pressure. So they know how to handle pressure. It's just that when they reach that stage, when it's all win or lose, that's when it starts getting to them. They just get overawed by the occasion, perhaps, and they need to shrug it off as soon as possible.
Well, they certainly need to shrug it off. Roger, South Africa, more a mental game for them in this World Cup, or more about the strategies on the field?
Well, I'm sure they would like to get rid of that tag, which they've been dubbed with now, Joker's tag. But I'm very surprised that they've got 3 spinners in the lineup against the West Indies. Probably they think the West Indies are not very strong against playing spin. And probably Akash may bear me out and say that the wicket may turn a little bit. They feel that the Delhi wicket will turn. Because I don't think really 3 spinners are required. It's a small ground to Delhi. So I think they'll definitely miss out on a left-arm pacer or a medium pacer in place of a spinner.
Well, we'll only know by the end of the day whether the South African gamble to play 3 spinners works out in Delhi, where the track is expected to play to character, that is low and slow. Well, thanks a lot everyone for joining us on the show today. But before we go, let's tell you how you can win a lot of prizes here on World Cup Your Daily Fix. We present the NEWSX 50 Lakh World Cup Bonanza, the World Cup's biggest contest. All you have to do is stay tuned to NEWSX and you could win prizes worth 50 lakh rupees. Now answer the NEWSX Daily World Cup question. Today's question is, which team reached the finals of the World Cup thrice but never won it? It's pretty easy, the answer, and if you know the answer, call 125556 or 505101026. And you can also SMS NEWSX space A, B, C or D and send it to 53434. You could take home a Fossil watch, a Samsung DVD player, a Pearl set from Gitanjali and a whole lot more. And if you can answer the question correctly for all 7 days, you could win 925 purity silver worth 1 lakh rupees. Well, that's all that we have for you right now. More news and updates continue on the other side of the break. Thanks a lot for tuning in.